Hey everyone, I'm Norma. If you're new to my channel, I talk about nursing stuff and my experience as a nurse assistant, and I'm going to be talking about like my journey throughout nursing school. So if you're interested in that stuff, maybe you should subscribe. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what it's like to be a CNA in the newborn nursery. So if you've seen like some of my other videos, you're probably like, okay, how is this chick like a CNA everywhere? It is true, I am a CNA everywhere. But no, I am hired for the NICU, that's my home unit, but usually they don't have a high enough census, like they don't have enough babies, which is good, you know, we don't want that many sick babies. So whenever I'm not needed there, I am sent to my sister units, which include Pediatrics, Newborn Nursery, and then those are like the first ones, and then after that I'll be sent to postpartum or labor and delivery. So I kind of have experience in all those units, but I mainly work in Pediatrics and Newborn Nursery. So those are the two that I really feel confident and comfortable working in, and I feel like I can really share my knowledge with you all. So what can you do as a CNA in newborn nursery? First of all, I do kind of a lot of secretary work, which includes, you know, making the charts and printing out all the papers. That's like boring stuff. I also register the baby whenever we get an admission. So let's say there is a baby that was born from a C-section and the NICU nurse comes and brings the baby down to the newborn nursery. As soon as they come in, the first thing I do is look at the time so that I can know the time that the baby arrived to our nursery. And then the NICU nurse, she weighs the baby, gets the length and all of that. So I usually get the papers that are going to be going in the chart, and I write down the weight and I write down the length. And as soon as I have that information, I can call and register the baby. So to register the baby, you pretty much call like a specific number and then you just give them all the information. So you start with baby's account number, baby's name, is it a baby girl, baby boy? You give them the time the baby was born, you let them know the weight in grams, and then you tell them the weight in pounds, then the length. Then you let them know if this baby was born from C-section or if this was a vag delivery. You let them know who the mommy's doctor was, and then you let them know who the baby's doctor was. And then you also have to tell them their APGARs, the gestational age, and then that's pretty much it. So after that, you wait like a few minutes, the baby's registered, you are now able to print out stickers and all of the nice fun stuff that go in the chart. Besides the secretary stuff, I do get to actually be hands-on with the babies. One thing I do always make sure to do is I make sure that the warmers are all clean, because once the babies come in, they go straight to a warmer because they are cold. Just make sure that they are nice and disinfected, the blankets are new, and we also have like little admission packs that we put for the babies. So it just includes stuff for the nurse, like the heel stick, some band-aids, like a bunch of different things that they need. So we put the baggie there, we put a newborn diaper, and then we put these little silver stickers that they go on the baby with this little wire that kind of tells us their temperature. I'm actually able to check vitals with the babies. Actually, this kind of varies depending on the nurse. Usually the nurses trust me enough to get the vitals. I mean, I don't know, I trust me enough to get the vitals. Initially, the first set of vitals, the nurse has to get it. And then after that, they usually let me check the vitals. So the vitals that they need are respiratory rate, heart rate, and temperature. And so temperature, we check it axillary. The heart rate, we can check it with like a stethoscope, which by the way is really, really hard on a baby because they are like moving and they're freaking crying because it's cold. So a little tip you can do is put like their baby blanket on their chest and then put the stethoscope over so that they're not like freaking out about the coldness of the stethoscope. So I also get to bathe the babies, and I think that's super duper cool because I'm like, you know, giving these babies their first baths of life, you know, like they've never had a bath before, so I get to do that. which I think is super cool, and I actually really enjoy giving the babies baths because it's just like so fun. Like I get to give them little hairstyles and like make them look so cute and so fresh and so nice and smelling good. So I'm gonna like kind of demonstrate how I bathe the babies because everybody has different techniques, but I feel like it would be really cool. Like let's say you have no experience with babies and newborns and you are thrown in an environment where you have to bathe one. This is my technique and I find that it really works and it's helpful. So here I have baby boy Norma. Oh, and I'll also show you how to swaddle. I just don't know how I'm gonna hold the camera and show you, but I'll show you like a little later. Okay. First thing that I do, well, besides like holding the baby, the first thing I do is I set up the area. So our sinks are directly under a warmer. So what I do is I first put those green pads. I put maybe like 2 because I like to get very like messy with it. So I set up 2 of the green pads. Lately our sink hasn't been working, so we're using basins, which is fine. So it's kind of like you're giving the baby a bed bath. So I set up the basin with warm water, make sure that the temperature is good for a baby, and if it's too hot for your skin, it's too hot for a baby. And I put the soap, I put the little baby brush, and then I get some soft wipes because usually some people use the towels that are provided to us by the hospital, but those are really rough. Like I feel like they're even too rough for my skin, so I like to get the dry wipes and I leave them there, and then I spread out 2 towels and I put a diaper under. So the 2 towels, I usually use one to kind of cover them when they're cold, and then the other one is to do the final dry. So once I have everything set up, everything's good to go, I go and get the baby and take him out of the warmer. So the sticker that they have on, I try to rip it off as quick as I can, and usually they cry a lot, but it hurts a lot more if you go slower, so I just try to do it quick, like a band-aid, rip it off like a band-aid. Then I put the baby in their little crib because it's kind of, the shower or the little sink that we have is like across the room, so I kind of don't want to be walking around the room with the baby, you know. So I put the baby in the crib, I wrap the baby in the blanket, have them swaddled. At this point they are probably crying because they're like, what the heck is going on? Well, the first thing that I do is I like to wash the baby's hair. But I leave the baby wrapped in the blanket, and usually they do not cry. They like this part because it just feels like a little massage in their head and it just feels good. Like I don't know if you guys have ever gone to a beauty salon and they wash your hair in the back and it just feels like all your problems are being lifted away off your shoulders. Yeah, I don't know. I like doing that for them. So usually they don't cry, they kind of just really enjoy it. So I leave them swaddled, making sure that they're still trying to keep the little body heat that they have. And since we have the basin and our sink isn't working because you know how it is, you know how hospitals are, I get the cup and I start pouring water on top. I'm on top of the pads right now, so just envision me on top of the pads. So I'm holding the baby like this with one arm, and then with my other arm I'm pouring water on their hair. Then I get the soap and I like kind of squirt it. I know that that's not like correct, but I have one hand, like what am I supposed to do? So I put the soap, and they usually don't cry. Like I know that the soap is a little cold, but it really doesn't bother them. So I put the soap, and then I kind of start like lathering their hair, scratching it, massaging them, making it nice and soapy. And then I start to kind of like put more water and rinse it. And then meanwhile, I am also using the baby brush to kind of like brush out any like blood clots, because usually the hair is the dirtiest part of these babies' bodies, especially a vag delivery. You're gonna have lots of surprises in the hair. I'm kind of like trying to get out as much of the clots as I can, and I also try to get off a lot of vernix because I know that vernix is good for the babies, but at my hospital they like for us to try to take it off. I don't know, what can I do? Try to take it off and, you know, make their hair look nice and cute. I'm brushing it, rinsing it, and this is usually the longest part in my opinion. And also while I'm washing their hair, I'm trying to like clean their ears and, you know, try to clean inside as well with the little towels that I have. And I try to kind of check the neck, so like I turn their head this way, check the neck, okay. Once the whole head area is good, oh, and also trying to like clean their face as much as I can, but it's a little hard because usually they have an eye medication that they put on. Eyes and thighs. Nursing students, y'all know what that is. So I try not to get too close to the eyes, but anywhere around the face, I'll use a clean wipe to wipe their face. And then now is the part where they start screaming bloody murder. I lay them on the pad, their hair is wet. I try to put like something to cover their hair while they're waiting. And then I expose them. They are usually naked, they just have a diaper. So I leave their diaper on because I've had instances where the little boys like to shoot me in the face with their pee. So I leave their diaper on as I'm trying to wash the top of the body. So usually I start to wet their body, and then I'm wearing gloves, obviously. So I put some soap on my hands and I lather it, and then I kind of start just like going in. And like, I just find that a lot easier than using wipes. I do use wipes for like the difficult areas, like the armpits. Usually they have a lot of the vernix stuck in the armpits, so I usually use the towels for that, and the rest of the body I just use, you know, lathering motions. And then as they're laying flat, I kind of turn them to the side and I get their back and I get all of this area. And then rinsing. I'm still not going below their waist yet. I haven't even, you know, touched that area. So I'm cleaning their upper body. They're screaming, crying, just picture it, you know, it's great. And then once I rinse off all the soap, I get that extra towel that I have and I cover them like the top. And usually at that point they're kind of calming down because they're just really cold. That's why they're screaming. So I leave the towel on top, and then now is where I open their diaper and I start doing the same thing. I just, you know, get the wipes. I start cleaning that area. The peri area is more important to use those wipes, so I'm using the wipes vigorously in their little areas. Try to do it really quick because, like I said, you know, they are going to probably pee on me because they're angry. Baby girls, you want to make sure you are using a clean wipe, wiping down. If they have any stool, you want to make sure you really get that out because that can cause an infection, as I'm sure a lot of you know. So I'm like keeping that in mind as well. I'm trying to just be as sanitary as possible with their little flowers. And then after I'm kind of done with all of this, I pat dry them with that towel that's still on top of them. I pat dry them, and then I take off the towel. And this is the part where they're like screaming because they get very, very cold because I'm taking off their towel. And then I like carry them over to the other area with the clean towel and the clean diaper. I put their diaper on really quickly. I wrap them in the towel. I try to dry them as best as I can. And then I have their crib there ready with clean blankets, and then I transfer them without the towels. I transfer them to the crib. I swaddle them again, and then while they're laying there, I brush their hair and kind of like style it to make it look cute. And then I put the baby back under the warmer, and then they're nice and fresh and clean. And so when the babies are ready to go out with mommy, which is usually 2 hours or so, because after they get a bath, they have to go back under the warmer. They have to get back their, you know, heat, and their temperature has to be above 98. So that's kind of the protocol to let them go out with their mom. So let's say baby boy Norma, he has 98.1, perfect, ready to go out with mom. So I get them dressed. This baby's already dressed, just pretend that he's not dressed. So I first put on their baby shirts, make sure that their diapers are clean. We have little beanies that we put on, so I put on the beanie. Then I put the baby on their crib, I swaddle them, and then put another blanket over them to make sure that they're like really, really nice and snug and warm. I'm gonna show you guys kind of how I swaddle. It's not the best because I'm not the best, but I'm gonna show you with my baby boy Norma and a pretty lame blanket, so I hope this works. Okay, so imagine this is on a crib. The first thing you wanna do is make this little corner, right? Then you're gonna put the baby kind of right there. So you're going to make sure that the shoulders are kind of lining up with this corner right there. Sorry, this isn't perfect. And then, well, you know what? Actually, hold up. Make the corner a little bigger. I'll show you why right now. So, okay, baby is here, and then a really cool trick that I found to be helpful is you grab the baby's hand and you have them, they usually, like, if you put your hand right there, they will grab your hand like that, or they'll grab your fingers. So if you do that, that kind of helps prevent their fingers from getting squished when you do this. So make sure that they hold onto your hand, and just pretend that I'm still holding onto their hand, but I can't really do this with one hand. So what you're gonna do is you can put their arm into this corner right here while they're holding it. So you can put it in like that. This blanket just sucks for this, I'm sorry. And you wrap this over. Just imagine that they have their hand like on their chest, like that way. And then you do the same thing here. You have them grab your hand. Well, first you wanna pick up this corner over, and then you have them grab your hand over here, and then you put it also into this corner. So you're gonna pick it up, and then this one goes wrapped like all around their body. And it goes over like that. But this blanket really sucks to do this, and it's not a real baby, so it's kind of hard, but I hope you understand like my drift. So once baby's ready to go, we usually call the nurse or whoever's gonna be the nurse for that baby and let them know that baby's ready to go out with mom. And then baby goes out with mom, but you also have to make sure that their crib has the mom's name, the mom's room number, and the baby's information, because you can mix up the baby. They'll have, well, they usually have it on their leg, like their ankle, but they have their identification wristbands that have like a specific number that has to match mom's bracelet. So if you're ever taking a baby into a room, you always have to make sure that you ask the mom to read those numbers to you so that you can confirm that this is indeed her child. You don't want to give someone the wrong baby, because that won't be good. Thing is, we have these little sensors that we put on the baby's ankle as well. Those are like waterproof. They are to be honest, they're very annoying because we just got them, they're new, but that's besides the point. Basically, the sensors are to prevent any code pinks or to prevent, you know, anybody trying to take off that sensor. We will immediately be notified. So those sensors are super duper important to keep on the baby throughout their whole stay. As they get discharged, you can take it off, but throughout their whole stay, they have to keep that sensor on, and believe me, it is sensitive. And so at the end of my day, what I usually do is just make sure that everything is kind of clean and stocked up, and you know, we have enough of our little admission baggies. I try to make more. Every time I work, I try to just make a few more. I also help the nurse with making a list that we do. We put all of the babies that are gonna be still in the nursery. We put them all, we put the information, like if they were a repeat C-section, if they were a primary C-section, a badge delivery, and we put the time, and then we also put the mom's room number, the baby's weight at admission, and then we put their blood type, and if they are negative or positive for Coombs. So that list is kind of something that I always do towards the end of my shift. All in all, I really love my job. I feel like I have the coolest job ever, and now that I'm going to be starting nursing school, I'm just going to be working Saturdays, which is so cool. Like, I still get to keep my job and I still get to make my little money on the side, but I have enough time to kind of focus on nursing school and myself. Like, I feel like I have also that, like, you know, Sunday that I can kind of just unwind, focus on myself, relax, self-care or whatever. But right now I'm trying to hustle and work as much as I can and, you know, get that little shmoney in before school starts. By the way, I'm so excited for nursing school. Like, I can't wait to show you guys my little nursing school haul. It's gonna be great. Here, I don't know if you can see, but here's my little whiteboard. We got get accepted, orientation, blue card, she right there. Scholarship acceptance, we are waiting for this one, and then buy books. I should probably buy my books already, but Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I was speaking probably a little bit too fast, but I'm excited. I love babies. I love talking about them. It's so fun. If you are interested in maybe hearing about how I got my job or like any tips on how to get a job at a nursery, let me know. I can help you with that. I just feel so blessed. I have the best job in the world and I have the best management in the world, and I'm just a lucky girl to have my job. And I'm very lucky to also be starting nursing school, be starting something that I'm completely passionate about. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have a bachelor's in biology. But we're not going to talk about that because that was a mistake in my life that I shouldn't have done. But whatever, no mistakes, only lessons learned, and I'm excited for the future. And right, this is a bad angle. Okay, bye, subscribe.